Hey everyone! Today I'm sharing an unboxing video for the Layered Life Good Times kit. This is a bit late of a video. This was released last month, but I thought I'd do an unboxing anyways because there are still some kits available on the website in case you're interested in checking them out. And I will be sharing a process video featuring this kit after the unboxing as well, so stay tuned for that. So as usual, there is this lovely door hanger piece that comes in the Layered Life kits, and there are tips and tricks on the back as well if you pick this kit up. And one of the things that's different about this month's kit is instead of having 3 ephemera packs, they have 2 ephemera packs and one of these card sets and a sticker sheet as well. So they call these the velour sticker sheets. I think that's how you pronounce that, V-E-L-O-U-R. And pretty much they're just kind of like a matte surface, and they are pretty thin. So this is kind of a bit thicker than what I would say washi tape is, but it is more stable than washi tape. So washi tape is more of kind of like a paper consistency, whereas this is, I wouldn't say it's plasticky, but you definitely can't tear it as easily as you can tear washi strips, but it does kind of have that matte consistency, so that if you are using this on photos, it provides a bit more of like a contrast because this is like a matte texture versus like a glossy texture. Let's look at these pocket cards next because I'm really excited about these pocket cards. So these ones are a bit heavier of a weight than you would expect from her ephemera pieces. So if you can listen there, that's quite a thick cardstock compared to, let me see if I have some 65-pound here. So this is just some scrap pieces of paper I have, but this is what my 65-pound cardstock sounds like. Compared to this is quite a bit thicker than that. So very sturdy if you want to use this for, I've seen some of the design team members use this as a mini album, but the sizes on these ones are 5.5 inches tall by 3.5 inches, 5.5 inches wide by 3.5 inches tall. So if you wanted to put this in a 4x6 pocket page, let me show you compared to a 4x6 card what that would look like too. So here I just have a piece of scrap white cardstock cut to 4x6 inches, and you can see that leaves a lovely white border around that card. Let me see if I can, you can kind of see it a bit easier on this background here. So that's the 4x6 card, and this is the 3.5 inches wide, tall by 5.5 inches wide pocket card. So I think that these would be really fun if you wanted to use these in your pocket pages to layer them on some pattern papers and then slide them in, or alternately use these as frames. So I could definitely see you cutting these out and then putting a photo in behind there, or using them as kind of like a base for a mini album. So let's just flip through these cards here. I love that some of these are able to be oriented vertically as well because I do work in a Life Crafted album, and so these will be a nice size because a Life Crafted album page is, let me see if I have one of those. So a Life Crafted album page is 5 inches wide by 8.25 or 8 3/8 inches tall. So you can see that these would work really well, like maybe as a focal point on a Life Crafted album page as well. This pattern here. This one says, joyfully engaged in everyday life and doing the thing I love the most without a care in the world. I love that. Some other patterns here, you could easily put a photo there and either turn it this way, or you can just have a photo here and then do some journaling there. I think this would make for a really nice flip out element too, like if you folded it on that line. And because this is quite sturdy, I wouldn't have to worry about backing it with anything. This could just be the flip up element itself. Some fun glasses. You can see that this is kind of like a more summery vibe, which really worked well with, because this kit was released last month. Some summery drinks. Oh yes, I definitely could cut this out, maybe turn it into a 3x4 card. If you cut it there and kind of extended it out, it would be a 3x4. A really nice grid here. Again, patterns that you could use either vertically or horizontally. I like that. Make it happen. Another one of those ones where you could turn it any which way. Love this rainbow one. I could just imagine some curved stamping on these lines and maybe doing some journaling in there. And if you haven't noticed on their website, they are doing digital forms of these kits as well. So if you are like me and you like to enlarge things and modify them digitally, then you can definitely pick those up as well. These I think would be really fun flip outs, like if you folded this in half and then just had that as a flip out, and this one as well. This one kind of reminds me of like watermelons. I don't know, maybe it's just the pink and the green. Another really fun frame there. I especially think these would be fun to enlarge as like a 6x8 page kind of configuration and put a large photo and some embellishments in there. Fun for all. And here's that last one with the colorful rainbows there. So that is this whole deck of cards. Like I said, very high quality, very thick cardstock. And there are quite a lot of them as well. So I look forward to working with these. And then in terms of the ephemera pieces, let's go look at the Mix It Up ephemera first. And this one's the one with the pink leopard type pattern on the front and then this blue pattern on the back. So as usual, you get lots of little goodies here. This ticket stub is kind of similar to one of the pocket cards that they had. Let me see if they're the same size. This one is a bit bigger, so it could serve as kind of like if you layered a photo on there and then just put that on beside the photo, it could serve as kind of like a tone-on-tone layering. I think that would be really cute. These really fun curved tabs here. I think this would make for a really fun interactive element, and there are more as well, so I'll look through these and find those all for you. Let's move these aside. She has a few title cards that have the sentiment kind of spread across 3 lines as well. So that one says, "Soak it all in, time to shine." Again, lots of fun colors for summer if you're doing some late summer documenting like I am. And then some tabs as well that I think would be really fun for page turners or things like that. I've done a couple of interactive elements like that before. Some cards. And I'll share the measurements for some of these as well, like the tabs, in case you guys are interested once I have all of these together. So it comes with, I think 4, or there might be a couple more. Here they are. Just want to put them in order here. So this comes with 5 little tab dividers here. Move that to the side. This kind of reminds me of a pencil. If you turn that into a point, that could almost be a pencil. More tabs to layer around. Really nice wavy shape there. I like that. And I am still on camera. Yes, I am. Really nice pattern card there. And that's about it. So just doing some measurements here. These ones with the titles are about 1 3/8 inches wide by 2 1/4 inches tall. This one here is about 2.5, just over 2.5 inches wide by 3 1/4 inches tall. And then these tabs, not including the tab on top, is 2 3/4 inches wide by 1 1/4 inches tall. So I think these would be really fun to work in as a little flip out or an interactive element. So I'll be sure to share my process video once I'm done that. And then let's just measure these tabs for fun, or these little labels. So they're about 1 1/4 inches wide by 7/8 inches tall. So there's the Mix It Up ephemera pack. And next we have the Windows and Notes ephemera, which I think is super fun for layering on photos and layering with journaling and things like that. So I will share that with you. And this is the one with the fun blue leopard print on the front and the soda drink straw on the back. So this one has all kinds of little labels and things. Some of them have sentiments. Let me see this one. So this one says Wild Woman. I like that. You probably can't see that very well because the font is in yellow. You have some circles. Tell It. I really like that one. I could see these circles being used as kind of like if you string them all together, or maybe turn some upside down to create a pattern. Some more labels, and then some more windows. Living large, out of here, I love that. Some tinier circles as well, and then some of these checkered windows that you can use either vertically or horizontally. I will put those there. Some of these larger pieces as well. We have another Tell It card. A couple there. And then we have some of these squares that are the fallouts from inside these windows, but of course you can use them as elements as well. I just imagine this is kind of like a letter board where you have like alphabets stamped in there. I think that would be really cute. Some of these larger little tags there, more circles, and more of these labels. And I just love the variety of not only the colors, but also the patterns that you have here. Like, for example, none of these are really the same. They're all like different thicknesses and different heights in terms of those patterns. I think this one is really cool. I wonder if there's a digital of this one that I could make into little frames for different photos. Because these are maybe a bit too small for photos. These are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are 5/8 inches in diameter, so maybe a bit too small for photos. But if you had a digital of that, that would be a very easy way to incorporate some hybrid scrapbooking into your layouts. Some more Tell It little notes there. This one says Killing It. I love that. And this says Good Food. So there you have it. Those are the Windows and Notes ephemera pieces. So what really popped out at me when I was going through the contents of this kit were these small, long window frames and these note cards that say Tell It from the Windows and Notes ephemera pack. And the frames kind of reminded me of those organizing trays that you put on your desk to file away like memos and notes and papers and things like that. So I thought it would be really cute to turn these into interactive pockets. so that I can slip in those tell it notes in those pockets. And I'm going to be using these to document a layout about my bad habits in my Me, Myself, and I 6x8 album. And again, for those who haven't watched a lot of my videos, those are based on a list of prompts provided by Heba Elsabai or my little journal here on YouTube. I really wanted to use these long sentiment strips on top of those windows, but they didn't quite cover up that whole window section that's cut out. So I'm going to back these with some gold foiled cardstock before I adhere them down onto the fronts of these windows, just so that they look a bit more like those gold plated label holders on those vintage organizing trays. Now, the measurements for these elements weren't exactly round numbers that I could really measure very easily. So this is probably the least amount of measuring that I've done for an interactive layout like this. And I'm mostly just eyeballing the sizes of these strips of gold cardstock here. And once I've cut down my strips of gold foiled cardstock down to size, I'm just going to use some double-sided tape to adhere these sentiment strips into the centers of these pieces of gold foiled cardstock. Now, there are 4 Tell It note cards that came in this ephemera pack, and there were only 3 of these window strips that are like long and narrow like this. So I'm going to make my own 4th window strip using a part of this ephemera card from that same ephemera pack. And again, I'm just cutting it down to the same size as the other window strips and not really paying attention to the exact measurements of this piece here. With that piece there, I'm actually not going to worry about cutting out the window in the center of this piece, just because I am going to be covering up that spot with the gold foiled label anyways. And once that's done, I'm going to start assembling my pockets. And pretty much, I'm just adhering the window strip along the top edge of a piece of scrap piece of white cardstock, and then leaving about 1/4 of an inch along the left side, bottom side, and right side to make the hinges that form the bottom of my pocket. So just trimming out a few pieces here that are the same size. Then I'm using some double-sided tape to adhere that frame down onto the top edge of this piece of scrap white cardstock. And I'm going to use some 1/4 inch wide double-sided tape to line those 3 hinges down before I fold them all over, and then I'm just going to trim off any excess pieces of white cardstock around the edges that I don't need. And again, this is far less precise of a method that I usually use to make my pockets, but I just found this a bit easier than trying to measure out pieces that weren't like exactly a round number to match the sizes of these little window shapes that weren't a standard size pretty much. Once I've finished my pockets, I'm going to adhere my sentiment strip with the gold foil around it onto the front of that pocket with some 3D foam squares just to give that a bit of extra dimension. Before I work on assembling the rest of those 4 pockets, I'm actually going to move on to this top half of my spread, which is going to be my title piece for my layout. So I have this cute little frame that has the 9 circles punched out of it from the Windows and Notes ephemera pack, and I'm just going to back this with some white cardstock so that I can do some stamping on it to stamp out my title for this layout. And I'm just using a nice alphabet stamp set from Citrus Twist Kits and using my black archival ink to stamp out the title Bad Habits, and it just so happens that those letters fit perfectly in the number of circles that I have in this window card. For this top portion of my layout, I also have this yellow daisy pocket card that I'm going to trim down so that I can layer that kind of behind the Bad Habits title piece. And then I have this other fun piece from the Mix It Up ephemera. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to swear on YouTube, so I'm actually not going to read that, but you can read that from the photo yourself. I just think that was such a fun sentiment for documenting my bad habits, because I really need to let those go. And now that that top portion is done, I have a better idea of how much space I have to work with the 4 pockets on the bottom of my spread. And so I just want to talk a bit about the design process that I used to rearrange all of these sentiments on the window cards, as well as the tell it notes within those pockets. Pretty much I rearranged these pockets so that they would be kind of contrasting with the colors of the tell it note cards. So I didn't want, for example, the orange note card to pop out of the orange pocket and things like that. And I wanted there to be as much contrast as possible. And I'm also going to eventually arrange all of these pieces so that I have triangles of colors. So I don't want all of the lime green, for example, to be on the right side of the layout, and I don't want all of the pink to be on the left side of the layout. I do kind of want to make sure that my colors are balanced throughout this page. And another thing that I'm keeping in mind is that I wanted the little sentiments that are on top of the gold foiled cardstock to be the same color as the backing window frame that's around it. So, for example, I have the blue sentiment that says "Don't apologize" on top of the blue window card, and then I have that red "Living Large" sentiment on top of the red window card. The set also came with a variety of other sentiments that were, all of these are kind of like positively spun sentiments because this is supposed to be the good times kit. But of course, I'm documenting bad habits, and the little sentiments are actually kind of like a bit snarky. When you think about like what the habits are that I'm putting in all of these little pockets. And I did make them kind of match the theme of the sentiments as well. So for example, like the living large sentiment, the habit that I matched up with that was making mountains out of molehills. And that's one that my boyfriend gave to me very reluctantly, might I add, when I asked him what my bad habits were. And then the one that says enjoy life, I put the habit eating junk food when I get home from work, because that's me enjoying life maybe a bit too much. So now that I'm done assembling all of my pockets, I'm just going to peel the tape backing off of all of those little hinges and then attach them onto the bottom of my layout, just in the grid of 4 here, and make sure that they're all nice and lined up and straight. And then I can start playing around with my tell it note cards. I've printed out here some journaling for both the front side as well as the back side of these tell it cards. And the front side, I just have like a short kind of like one-liner of what the bad habit is. And on the back, I have printed out more detailed journaling about what exactly that bad habit is and why it's a bad habit and maybe why I want to stop doing that. And because I have access to the digital versions of all of these ephemera pieces, I did use the lines on these tell it note cards to make sure that my journaling would be nice and lined up within those lines. You might notice in some of the photos as well that I actually use my glossy clear sticker paper for this project instead of the usual matte clear sticker paper that I usually use. And that's just because the cardstock that these ephemera pieces are printed on are, they're kind of a bit, not really glossy, but they do have some sort of a coated finish. So I just wanted that look to be a bit more consistent with the journaling that I'm applying. So that's why I chose to use clear sticker paper that was glossy instead of my usual matte sticker paper. And as I'm applying my sticker paper onto all of these note cards, I am using a bone folder to just burnish this down, just to make sure that there are no air bubbles and that it looks as clear as it can be on these cards. Last but not least, after I've applied the clear sticker paper onto my tell it cards, I am using my We Are Memory Keepers rounded corner chomper, just with the smaller 1/4 inch rounded corner to round the top edges of those tell it note cards. I just think that makes such a big difference in terms of this project, looking like these are kind of like library cards coming out of one of those tray desk organizers. And that pretty much completes my layout. Here's a quick look at all those cute little pocket cards inside those pockets. And I had so much fun making this spread. I really love the bright and fun colors that are part of this kit. And I will be making another spread with this kit, so make sure you check out my Instagram for that spread once it's done. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe for more videos. Thanks so much for watching.